So the subject of nightlife in Peterborough. We thought we're going to talk about nightlife. Who can we speak to? Who can we invite in? And Steve Jason's name came up. How would you describe yourself in the context of your career as someone who's had businesses and DJed and promoted? You know, I mean, are you Mr. Nightlife in Peterborough, would you say?
No, I wouldn't say I'm Mr. Nightlife.
Come on.
I would say...
Don't be modest.
No, I would say I'm the library of nightlife.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We've got the perfect person
dignified.
there.
That's not quite nice.
Library of have you always lived in Peterborough? Did you grow up in Peterborough?
I was born in Yorkshire.
Ah, okay.
I was born in Yorkshire, but I came down when I was a couple of years old. My father got a job at the college, a regional college. He was in charge of carpentry and joinery, building. So I grew up, I'm a Peterborough person, basically.
Yeah.
First school was Peterborough, went through the entire system, got expelled the last day of school.
If you're going to go, you might as well do it on the last day.
Yeah, I know.
On the last day of school?
Yeah.
What school was it?
Deacons.
Deacons?
Yeah, well, it wasn't...
Why did Deacon School expel you?
Nothing to do with nightlife.
Oh, I was hoping for some good story.
No, it was just literally, it was a case I wasn't told we wasn't welcome to go to the last assembly.
Yeah,
because
Leavers Assembly.
So, yeah, Leavers, something happened the night before, but tradition, but hey-ho.
But most of your life you've spent working in the nighttime economy.
Nighttime economy, nighttime, but obviously organising concerts during the day and trips, but nightlife.
Didn't you DJ first? Didn't you start out as a DJ?
I started as a roadie, obviously, then a DJ, disc jockey from... Mr. Mobile did all the best Mr. Mobile DJ basically, and if you can do a wedding reception, you can do anything in a nightclub.
Yeah,
if you can do a wedding reception where you can draw a chalk line down the dance floor, his side and her side, because there's a class distinction between the bride and the groom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've got a white line, and you just know that if that side's dancing, they ain't going to be dancing. If that side's dancing, they ain't going to be dancing. You've got to try and get it together. And then Clubland.
What clubs did you work in? And John, see if you recognise any of these names from the past.
If
you could list them in order, that'd be brilliant.
Well, I would say the first nightclub I did a session or a night in was Annabelle's.
Annabelle's?
Yeah, I did La Scala.
La Scala.
Yeah,
good one there.
I did the Millionaires.
Millionaires, of course.
Yeah, obviously the Gables was a legendary place as well, which was more a pub disco sort of thing. This is Peterborough. Going through obviously Canters on a Sunday night. I did that.
Was Canters named after Noel Cantwell?
Yeah.
The posh captain.
Yeah.
Coventry legend as well.
And Coventry legend, yeah.
Yeah. And Manchester United.
And of course Manchester United.
And West Ham. And I'm sure I'm going to do the Tropicana was there as well. I did. Yeah, I'm thinking I did residences. And
Wayward Frog, were you in there?
No, I don't do the Wayward Frog. No, I didn't do the Wayward Frog. I didn't. Yeah, I mean. Laristos, I did Sundays at Laristos for a little while on a Sunday night. I used to really enjoy. I used to get the phone call when the club wasn't doing very well. Steve, fancy doing a spot here basically because we need numbers through the door. So I'd go in. I was different to the average DJ in so much where the average DJ wanted his money regardless. I'd get the call basically from a nightclub or a club wasn't doing very well. And I go to them, okay, well, how much are you paying the last guy? And they go, we're paying him, let's say, 80 quid for a session in those days. And I go, well, what's your numbers through the door? I'm 150 people. So I used to say to them, well, I'll tell you what, I'll do it for 60 quid, and I want 50p, a pound a person, over 80. So in theory, if I do well and bring you people in, I do better. Now the pub, the manager at the time thinking, hang on, I've got this guy in here, he's willing to do it for less than the last guy, but he's willing to work on commission. If he does better, gets through the door. So for the manager, it's a no-win situation, no-lose situation. And
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I'll tell you, like the Gables, when the Gables was going, now the Gables had discos, 7 nights a week, right?
Just interrupt. Do you use the word discos, John?
Not generally, no.
I used to. What would be your word now?
Events, going out, that sort of thing.
Well,
there isn't really a 2025 word for discos, is there? Party, night out.
Really?
Well,
music night.
I don't know.
I think it is disco. So sorry, Steve.
Well, they had disco. Well, they had disco.
Nightclubs.
Well, it wasn't
clubs.
But Well, yeah, but the Gables didn't. When it first opened, the Gables, it didn't have any disco gear in there. DJs brought their own stuff in. I mean, the most popular night when the Gables opened, believe it or not, was a Monday night. It was unbelievable.
Student night, isn't it?
No students in Peterborough. Didn't give you that impression. No, Monday night, Peterborough. I mean,
Listen,
Gables.
It does have students. It's always had students. Peterborough Regional College has been there since day dot. Your dad used to work there.
I don't call them students.
What are they then?
Well, basically, I mean, when I was at Deacon's School, I wasn't a student. I was a pupil.
You should have pupils' nights on a Monday night. Anyway, we digress. So there we go. A potted history of Steve Jason as a DJ.
Okay.
Then it was a lot about music promotion, wasn't it? You took a lot of people to see some of the biggest bands in the world, and you basically put Peterborough on the map as a place, a destination where you took. Well, come on, don't be bashful.
What happened was when I was like doing DJing in the clubs, maybe probably the pubs. It really started in the Gordon Arms. If I'm honest with you, I was doing the Gordon Arms on a Sunday night.
Great pub, Gordon Arms. Back in the day, that was a really good pub.
On the circuit.
Still all right.
And I was always an organiser. I mean, when I was at school at Deacon's in the sixth form, I organised the sixth form discos. All right, booked myself. Great result. Booked myself, you see. Guaranteed gig. But I mean, I took a bus when I was 17 years old to see the Four Tops at Bailey's at Leicester. And it was an 18 plus venue. And I took a bus from the Halcyon, all the Halcyon regulars on a Sunday night. We took a bus. I organised a bus to Bailey's on a Wednesday to see the Four Tops. Brilliant. I was 17. And then I sort of didn't do nothing for about, 5 years. And I was 82, DJing at the Gordon Arms on a Sunday night. And Kid Creole and the Coconuts had come out. You remember them, Kev?
Well, I know they are. I'm looking at John. Have you ever heard of Kid Creole and the Coconuts?
Annie?
Yes.
Yeah, Annie has to. Yeah,
I'm not your daddy.
That's it. That's the one.
Okay.
But they were huge in the
early 80s.
Well, 82 early part. And what happened was, I was playing their record in the Gordon Arms, and they had the big album. That album, Annie, I think it's called Tropical Gangster. I think it's called
Stool Pigeon?
Yeah, it's the same album. Yeah, Stool Pigeon, Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy, and I'm a Wonderful Thing Baby. Those were the 3 tracks. And there's something, I'd love to see Kid Creole and the Coconuts. No band's ever come to Peterborough. I go, okay. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I could take a bus to see them. And they just announced their tour dates, all right? And this is a true story again. So they're playing in Montford Hall, Leicester. So I ring up De Montfort Hall, Leicester, and don't forget, this is a pre-credit card day. No hotlines, no internet. Rang them up, box office. Tickets for Kid Creole. Can I buy some? And the girl, yeah, no problem at all. She says, it's £4 a ticket. I said, okay. Went and saw my bank manager, all right, who was a customer. At the time I was working in a clothes shop in the old arcade. And he used to come in and buy some clothes.
Clues?
No, Heffords it was. Okay. Heffords. I was Prince Albert first, then Heffords. So I went to see him and I said, look, I need a new car. Can you give me 200 quid for a car? I've got 200 quid, the car's 400 quid. And he says, yeah, no problem. And in those days, I think the bank manager could verify the loan there and then. I think he just signed the papers and the money was in your account. So 24 hours, the money's in the account. So I write a cheque out for 200 quid to Leicester City Council, right, and send it off for 50 tickets to go and see Kid Creole and the Coconuts. All right,
so somehow you got the money together and you bought all those tickets for Kid Creole and the Coconuts.
50 tickets for Kid Creole and the Coconuts. Yeah. Stuck a post, rang up the local, but I forget the bus firm I used. Got a price for a bus. All right, put a poster in the window. Kid Creole and the Coconuts live in Leicester. Ticket and coach, £8. Right, started selling the tickets in the shop. It was a rent-free box office basically. So sold the first bus, and there's still demand. So I rang up Leicester. There's any tickets left? And she said, yeah, there's still tickets. So I bought a second bus, bought another 50 tickets. And that's what started it rolling. I just literally was, okay. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. 82, I think 82 was just buses from Peterborough. We did in the autumn of 82, we did Shalimar a couple of times. Duran, I forget what else we did. But then 83 expanded into Kings Lynn and Wisbech. I did a ticket shop, record shop in there. It's got bigger and bigger, and by 84 I had a ticket shop or a travel agent in every single town in East Anglia selling the packages.
Yeah.
And then 85 I did Live Aid. I did buses to Live Aid.
So there was people from Peterborough, you bussed them to Live Aid.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the irony was, I didn't go. I had 2 tickets. No word of a lie. I had, because Paul, I don't know how good you remember. You might remember this, about you, John, but you remember Paul Young at Live Aid? He did a duet with Alison Moyet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he did 3 warm-up shows for Live Aid in St Austell in Cornwall. All right. He did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Cornwall. All right. And Paul Young was hot in '85. You know, I think this was it. The single "Wherever I Lay My Hat." It was big, wasn't it?
No Parlay album, massive.
That's it. Yeah. So I rang up St Austell. I thought there's a demand here. So I rang up St Austell. Says, "Can I have 50 tickets?" And they said, "Yeah." Sent a check in the post. Got 50 tickets. So put a bus on, organised it right, and I thought, well, we can't go to St Austell back in the day because it's like miles away. So I rang up this B&B in St Austell because there's no hotels in St Austell. And she says, yeah. She says, look, I can get you 25 beds or 25 rooms. She says, they'll be in 3 or 4 B&Bs. So we drove the coach down St Austell like all day on the Thursday. Got to St Austell like for 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By the time we dropped everybody off at the B&Bs, it was time to go and pick them up again for the concert. Saw the concert, came back on the Friday during the day, took ages, and I was knackered. And the buses were leaving the Key Theatre, I think at 7:30. I think, didn't Status Quo kicked off Live Aid at midday, didn't they?
Status Quo started Live Aid, yeah.
Gates opened at 10 o'clock. So the buses were leaving Peterborough at 7:30. All right. So I got back on the Friday night from St Austell about 11 o'clock at night, absolutely exhausted. And I had 2 tickets. I saved myself 2 tickets to go to the show. So I'm down the Key Theatre, right, at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, seeing the bus off from Peterborough. And I started knackered. And I said to the driver, I said, look, there's 2 tickets there. I said, and on the day, I think they were organising stop the spits. If you had any spare tickets, you could take them back somewhere at Wembley, and then they could resell them for Live Aid. So I thought, look, take them down, find this box office at Wembley, give them to them, and blah blah blah.
Please tell me the bus driver ended up going to Live Aid.
Well, I don't know what he did with the tickets, but I have no idea. Anyway, so I get home, I go to bed, right, because I'm knackered, and I wake up about 11:45, just when Status Quo come on stage. Now, I don't know about you two guys, but whenever I've watched concerts on TV, they're pretty boring normally because there's no atmosphere.
It's not as good as being there, is it?
No, well, that's it. I'm watching this concert, I'm thinking, you know what? I've made a major cock up here, basically. I really should have gone to this concert.
One of the most famous gigs ever.
Yeah,
the most
Yeah.
you know, and by the time you two have been on, and I'm thinking, you're going to regret this the rest of your life. And then Freddie come on.
Queen came on.
Yeah.
Why aren't I there?
Exactly.
Right, listen, brilliant pod history,
Okay.
and like, you know, delving back in all of your years of working in Peterborough for the nighttime economy. John, where are we, do you think, as a city, for its nightlife? You live in the city centre.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, Broadway.
Okay.
I think we need more, don't we? I mean, one of the very first shows we ever did of this podcast, we spoke to the guys at Eclectic Ballroom, and he was saying that we need various venues for everything from DJ acts to live music. I think we do. I think there's no doubt about it, and it's a shame from some of the venues you mentioned there. You look at some of the places like New Road and places like that, where it's a bit of a shell now, isn't it? And it's a bit of a shame. But you might say that I'm wrong, that there's lots of pubs and lots of places doing live music, but we just don't hear about it enough. So you're not going to... What would you say?
The places you mentioned, the pubs.
Yeah.
And it's cover bands playing the same 20 songs.
Yeah, it's exactly what Zed said in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's your answer. And the thing is, the people are going to them pubs anyway, all right? Now, the cover bands that are there might drag a few more people in, all right? But if those cover bands put on a gig themselves and charge £5 to get in, there'd be nobody there, all right? The people that go to the pubs, all right, don't go to gigs per se. They don't go and see bands. They go to the local, there's a band on, and the band has to play. I mean, I'm old enough to remember paying to go into a pub to see a band, because it used to be back in the day, all right, the band took the door, the band would put a girlfriend on the door, all right, so she knew, shall we say, the band's girlfriends who could get in free, all right, so the girl would take the money on the door, the pub would probably put a doorman on the door just for security, for argument's sake. Band took the door, pub took the bar. all right? If the band were popular, all right, and pulled a couple of hundred people at 50p a go, they got 100 quid. If they weren't very popular, they weren't. Then it's changed
Steve,
now.
you're to me, it's in the old days a little bit. It's 2025.
Yep.
You know, night times are changing.
Yep.
And like the point you make, I take your point. I actually love going to a pub to see a band. I don't care if they do covers. If they are entertaining me and I'm having a beer and a little dance and I'm seeing some cool band doing a bit of covers, I've got nothing wrong with that. It's almost a separate conversation. Seeing bands themselves play live, you know, that's different to going to a pub, and whether the pub's got a DJ or a band playing or some really good music on a sound system. If the atmosphere in that pub is brilliant, then I want to go there. My question is, do we have good enough pubs? Do we have good enough
venues
nightclubs?
as a whole?
Do we have good enough venues generally?
Halls.
So it's not about just live music or not live music. Why is our city not punching its weight for a nighttime economy? We've got a university now.
But
We've got
haven't.
more.
No,
Yes,
Kev,
we
they're
have.
not.
The
No,
university
no,
is there,
no, it's
Steve.
not. No, it's
It's
not.
not there.
It ain't there.
It's been open 2
Kev,
years.
Okay, and they've got 2,200 students. How many of those students came from 30 miles away to go to that university?
You tell me.
No, I'm telling. I'm asking
don't
you.
ask me questions.
Kev, no.
You're here to ask questions.
I'm
You're
asking-
the guest.
okay.
So don't fire questions
Okay.
at me.
Kev.
You answer the questions. You're a nightclub owner. You own the Met Lounge.
Yeah.
The Met Lounge is awesome. I had a birthday there a few years back and loved it. My point is, there are people out there. There is a university, and however
No,
many
Kev,
it
Kev,
is.
it's not. It's,
So you're saying there's 0 students?
I'm saying to you that university, right? When
How
you
many
get
students at that university might go out in Peterborough?
none.
Because there's no accommodation at the moment. Is that what you're saying?
I'm
Or
te-
just-
this is again.
None.
You answer my question.
Where do they go then?
Answer my question, all right?
I don't want to answer questions.
You-
I want you to tell me what you know.
The problem is you are surmising on what the general Peterborough person thinks, and until somebody comes on and tells you you're wrong, you think you're right.
No, I don't think I'm wrong.
Right. Well, to answer
Being
the question,
right or wrong is
there's
irrelevant.
2,200 students
If you
there.
know stuff, tell us.
Yeah, but
Share your knowledge.
I will, but until you answer the question, all right. Right. Let's go this way. Nottingham's got 35,000 students. How many of those students are Nottingham based?
I don't know. It's
virtually
a
almost 2
quiz.
universities for a start. So
There's 35
Yeah.
years, right? How many of those?
Steve, it's not a quiz. Tell us what you know, man.
Kev, once I tell you this, you're going to go, I never realised that. Right?
But that's okay.
John's on it. Right. 35,000 students in Nottingham.
yeah,
Go-
Coventry with the same Coventry and Warwick, same sort of.
Hold on, but how many of those 35,000 are Nottingham-based people?
I should think it would be a very high percentage.
No.
No, low percentage.
No, low percentage.
What that they come to?
They've come-
there-
yeah, they've come to-
Sorry, when you said Nottingham,
Yeah,
I
well,
thought
that's typical of
staying
most
there.
unis,
No,
isn't it? My
no.
son's at Southampton Uni.
No, Kev.
And my
Right,
son
Kev.
goes out in
Yeah,
Southampton.
Kev, hang on, listen, right. John's nailed it. Right. So let's say there's 35,000 students, right, at Nottingham Uni. There's two units, right? 8% are Nottingham people. They live there. They've
Well,
gone.
what's your point with that?
Right. Peterborough, it's 90% are already here.
And you're saying that the other 92% in Nottingham are going out and exploring the place.
There's
going out
what I'm
gigging,
saying
right?
to you is, right, at a proper
So-
university,
So most people attending Peterborough University already live here.
yes.
Okay.
So if
So,
they
so,
were,
so
hold
those,
on.
but those 2,200 students, 90% of whom live here,
But if they weren't-
are still students,
But if they weren't,
and still want to
No,
go out.
no, if they weren't going out before they went to university, why are they suddenly going to go out now they go?
Okay, I've got no idea why we're arguing.
It's good
But it
fun
feels
from
like an
this
argument.
vantage
So let's
point.
calm down. And I love Steve. Steve's a controversial
but-
character. But hold on a minute. You're getting yourself worked
Kev,
up.
let me ask you a
by
simple-
almost.
no,
Hold on, let me
simple
finish.
question.
Steve, let me finish. You're getting yourself worked up trying to prove a point about statistics of who lives here and blah, blah, blah. Can't we just get back to talking about what the city needs?
But you said to me there's people
offer?
here.
Well, okay, so let's say you're right. There's no people, 0 people.
No, there's
Are
no-
you saying
there-
then? Are you saying then that there's no point in trying to push for a better, not you know,
What
a
I'm
better
try-
option
no.
of places to go?
What would you-
What I'm
do,
what I'm
Steve?
trying to say is, all right,
Sum
is
it up.
if you've got 35,000 students which are descending onto your town, all right, let's put it this way: if Peterborough at home, Posh are at home on a Saturday afternoon, and they're playing a big team, all right, and
Birmingham
that team,
as well, yeah.
all right, Birmingham, all right, and Birmingham bring 3,000 people to them, to the city, all right, for that day, right? The pubs do a great trade because there's 3,000 out of towners that are coming to Peterborough for the day. Brilliant. That's what universities do. Our university, all right, if Posh basically play a small team, all right, who bring 100 people, Charters don't see any increase in trade because it's just the Posh fans. So what I'm saying is,
I've got your point.
Right,
You've
okay.
made it.
So what do you
Now
do?
let's move on from
Yeah,
that point.
what do we
and
need to
talk
do
about
then, I
what the
guess?
city could and should have.
First of all, you've got to basically, I think, acknowledge where we are in the standings. All right, we have a population of, I think, 200,000 people. Okay,
Is that right, John?
Yeah, slightly more.
I would say higher.
220, 230. Yeah,
right.
but
But okay, that makes us the 89th biggest city town in the UK by population. 89th, Kev. There's 88 places bigger than Peterborough. All right.
We're small.
Right. So we have to accept where we are in the food chain, all right, when it comes to attracting acts. All right. But if we want to punch above our weight, right, the only thing that can make us punch above our weight is having great attendances, right, for what's already here. All right. If you want to attract bigger names to Peterborough, you have to be, well, as a promoter, I'm telling you as a promoter, right? Promoters gamble with their money, all right? And if you have got if you've got 5 cities, all with 200,000 population as a promoter, right? And you book 1,000 capacity venue in each of those 5 cities, all right? You do the same amount of promotion for each gig, all right? In theory, you should do a similar number in all those 5 cities. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. If in 5 of those cities you do 1,000 people, sorry, in 4 of the cities you do 1,000, and in the 5th one you do 500, all right? Which city are you going to miss off on the next tour?
He's doing a quiz again.
No,
I think I can safely say that it's going to be the
Steve.
500.
the point is that the Peterborough people, instead of making excuses not to do something, all right, the mindset has to change and go, we're going to support it. We're going to go out and support it, all right? And then that gives promoters confidence to bring another band here.
And are you saying that promoters don't have the right confidence in Peterborough as a city because there's too much apathy?
I think
If you were really honest.
I think I don't know if it's apathy sometimes. I think from experience I've gained now, right, from promoting around the country with the acts I work with, all right, you have to work 3 times as hard in Peterborough to get the same numbers out. I mean, using it, you know, but it's not just Peterborough. Don't just think it's Peterborough, all right? I've lost money in cities you wouldn't believe of. I mean, you know, you think, I went to Cardiff with Shalimar, all right? Now, Cardiff, it's the capital of Wales, isn't it, Cardiff? I'm not being stupid, it's the capital of Wales, right? I lost 10 grand in one night.
Because you took a gamble on Shalimar, big 80s act, hoping you'd sell enough tickets to make money.
Yes, in Cardiff.
Didn't quite sell
in
enough.
Cardiff. Cardiff.
Cardiff's a massive
Yeah,
city.
great.
Yeah, but I learnt, all right, Cardiff is not a 80s soul city, all right? It's South Wales is very rock. If I took an 80s rock band, let's say I took the 80s rock version of Shalimar to Cardiff, I'd have sold the theatre out.
Put status quo on.
Bonnie Tyler.
Well, probably, maybe.
Welsh.
Well, yeah, Welsh, yeah, hometown gig.
Rock.
Hometown gig.
Can I bring it back? And we've only got a few minutes left. I want to bring it back to our city. When I was in my going out days, in my 20s and 30s,
And 50s.
I felt like there was loads of options for me to go to.
Yeah.
My kids are now in their early 20s. They come back to Peterborough and they're not excited about going out in Peterborough. I've got other friends who've got kids who are like 18, 19, 20, and they're like, there's flares and you know this, that, and the other place. You've got the Met Lounge.
Red Room.
But where are your kids? Where are your kids coming back from? You say Southampton.
My son. Yeah.
That's a Premier League city.
For 3 months anyway.
It's like
Yeah.
I get where we are. All right, I understand that, and I get we're 89th biggest city, and I get there's an apathy, and I get that the university doesn't have a lot of students coming from outside. I'll take all those points on board. Let's just think about what we need as a city.
Is it a whole infrastructure, not just about music, but
Well,
a whole like thinking about theatre, arts?
Yeah, but do we admit that it's as it is now?
Yeah, but it's not just it's not just Peterborough. I mean, 1986, 36,500 nightclubs in the UK. 36,000 nightclubs in the UK in 86. Now, there's less than 1,000.
What?
Yeah, less than 1,000 nightclubs. I did a gig.
No.
Yeah.
In 1986,
There was 36,000
nightclubs.
Google it. That's 86 when I was at my peak and you were coming through. All right, that was the peak.
I was 7.
And now there's only
Less than 1,000.
less than 1,000
Yeah,
nightclubs.
nightclubs.
There's all
Nightclubs.
sorts of reasons, though, aren't
That
there?
very point, I think, tells us everything we need to know.
People are drinking less.
But-
people are.
which-
There's all sorts.
We are a changed race. Human beings don't have the same appetites now to what they had in the 80s and 90s. So it's not a surprise there's not very many good nightclubs to go to anymore. So what are these 20-year-olds doing?
don't
Where are they
forget.
going?
Yeah, but Kev, there's bars. There are bars. I mean, I'm saying traditional nightclubs per se. All right, there's classed as a nightclub. All right, there's less than 1,000. All right, there isn't one in Croydon. Population of Croydon is just under 400,000 people. There's not one nightclub in Croydon.
You're on the Peterborough podcast. Why don't you talk about Croydon?
well, that's
I'm giving an example. Twice
Probably
as
a
big.
cultural thing there with Croydon. Do you think like London and stuff like the more diverse
I-
areas and
London,
things that don't have
I
night?
think now London, the difference is, all right, as we're going back to nightclubs, there was a very big thing about nightclubs a while ago that people, believe it or not, Kev, didn't actually enjoy going to nightclubs. I know, they only went to nightclubs because it was the only place open after 11 o'clock on most nights of the week, because you know the old-fashioned pub, pubs shut at 11, clubs 11, 12. They didn't like the smoke in the nightclubs, all right? They didn't just like it, they just went because that's where you went to meet someone, a nightclub, all right? But they actually said, the Guardian did some good surveys about that, and I foresee...
So love, at the end of the night in a nightclub at 1:45, DJ will put slow records on.
Yeah.
You just
And
see
that
the
was the
shuffling,
point.
drunken.
Well, you just go and see
Smoke
someone
and-
and say, "Would you like to dance?" So you'd have a slow dance, and then you go off and get kebab.
Oh, I
together.
got to the bit where I asked, "Would you like to dance?" And then that was the end of it, basically. And then I got
Yeah.
the no several times.
The walk of shame. The walk of shame. He's been turned down.
Oh,
He's been,
Welcome to my
she-
life.
She turned him down,
Circa
basically.
1998.
I miss those days.
Kev, the thing is,
Changed
Listen,
something.
Kev,
You don't need to meet people. Internet,
It's internet now. It's-
Spotify for
you
all the
don't-
music
In
you
other
need.
words, right, we've moved on from that time. The 80s will never come back. So what can we have instead of nightclubs, or we're not a big enough city to
What I
promote
think-
bands? What can get more people out and about in the city
Right,
centre?
I think, okay,
Why aren't they queuing out the door at the Met Lounge every night of the week?
because we haven't got, there isn't an alternative scene in Peterborough anymore. There's no alternative. There hasn't been, and I've said this on many programmes I've been on, since 2011, that for us, all right, for the alternative brigade, all right, there's only been nothing after 2011, all right. When we first opened the Met in I can give you, we're running out of time, every musical culture and fashion from the 70s on alternative, all right. We could stand outside the Met Lounge for the first 10 years because we were the only place on Bridge Street, and we could spot our customers coming down the road by what they was wearing. Oh, he's one of the rock crowd, he's one of the emo crowd, he's one of the indie crowd, all right? By what they were wearing. It's music and fashion goes together, all right? What's a Coldplay fan look like? Could be anybody.
Wasn't there a cheering fan look like?
Could be anybody. It could be anybody. Do you see what I'm saying? That you haven't got that tribalism, all right?
Like back in my day, and listen, this is my older brothers. They were into Two Tone from Coventry. The
of
Specials
course.
were
Yeah.
my brother's favourite band, and as a really young kid, I see my brothers loving the Specials. That's when I
You know,
first got
wouldn't you?
into rock music.
Manchester.
But
those
there was
sort of-
fashion.
You know,
You could
there's-
spot a rude
Yep.
boy a mile
Exactly.
from his fashion,
So it's tribalism, all right?
and that doesn't exist in music anymore.
The only thing it really exists in is drum and bass music, dance music, that drum and bass. That is massive in Peterborough. Well, I think it's massive everywhere.
You got a big scene of drum and bass at the Met Lounge, have you?
We do a night every 2 or 3 months. But they have a problem now, the drum and bass. I mean, I've got the promoter. The problem is there's a 2 or 3 big events a year. It's called Under the Flag.
Oh yeah,
Right.
mixology, yeah.
Yeah, mixology, right? And they bring some big name DJs in, right? I mean, I hold my hands up, don't mean much to me, but 2 or 3 of my staff say big name DJs. And the problem that
And they get thousands in, right?
Yeah,
They get a
and it
couple of-
looks brilliant.
couple of
where it is
thousand
as well.
people in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, all right, is that then the regular D&B club nights, they then suffer because the general person is going, there's no big name on there. So they're suffering. They're suffering underneath, which is the same as what happened to club culture. What happened was every culture starts in the small clubs and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, all right? And then the people who went to the small clubs go to the big gigs, all right? And that's it. They don't go back to the small clubs.
We've got to finish now. Is there no way we could end the podcast on a positive? John, have you got anything positive in your mind regarding going out at night time? We've got some lovely restaurants. There are some cool pubs in Peterborough. You can have a late drink at the Met Lounge. There's still some cool places to go. It's not all bad, right?
No, it isn't. I think you want to say something more than me,
Well,
Steve.
yeah,
on
we're
that.
going to
Just-
wrap up. Steve,
okay.
well, Steve can have the final say in a moment. But from your perspective, John.
I still enjoy going out in Peterborough. My friends still enjoy coming here and enjoy going out here.
plenty of
which
pubs
is
that you can take
yeah,
them to.
exactly. You know, many pubs that I enjoy, many restaurants I enjoy. I'm
I like
a
going to
fan.
the-
I live here. I wouldn't choose to live here if I didn't like it. So you know,
For me, a bunch of pubs that I enjoy going to, a nice late dinner at, I don't know, Katana or
yeah,
nice Indians.
Bombay Brasserie,
A couple of places to go for a
great
beer.
pubs,
and
Ostrich,
I
Charters,
really-
Queen's Head. There's a lot. You know,
I rarely stay out late now because of my age. But if
course.
I do, I can find a place. And I can message Mr. Steve. You go, Steve, stick our names on the door at the Met, please. And he'll be like, no, you pay like everyone else. Steve, last word with you. Can we find a way to get you positive? Can you tell us some positive vibes to finish the podcast?
I think, right, one thing that would help, all right, is if the buses, all right, actually, let's say you could get a bus out the city centre back to the townships, let's just say at 1 o'clock in the morning. I think that might encourage more people to come into the town centres, all right, knowing they can get a bus back, all right. And what I would also do, all right, I would change the bus route, all right. So in the evenings,
You keep saying all right.
when the buses come down they go past Embassy O'Neill's, then they turn right and go up to Westgate to go in the bus station that way. I would make the buses come through because there's the bollards, drop the bollards so the buses can pick up and drop off on Cathedral Square.
Okay, big shout.
like it.
Improve public transport, better links late at night for places like Hampton or Warrington or wherever people might live. Imagine if there were late night buses running.
Well, there's going to be
In and around the city centre.
a new combined authority mayor, and one of their duties is to transport in the area. And we know that because Nick Johnson isn't running, so maybe get his ear. Maybe whoever it is
Whoever
comes in here.
mayor.
Yeah.
Is that when Paul Bristow's going?
Paul Bristow is
Yeah, yeah.
one of the candidates
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
become the new Cambridgeshire and Peterborough mayor. Yeah, that's a good shout. We can certainly raise that as a talking point. And I also want to just say one other thing about the university. So whatever the numbers are, and I know we had a bit of a heated debate there.
It was fun.
Whatever the numbers are, like, I do think having that university in the long run is going to help our city in so many different ways. So that's my opinion. And even though Mr. Steve Jason's shaking his head, that university has got to be supported and got to be nurtured, I think. And it's got to be allowed to grow and grow. And there will be eventually loads more people from outside of the area coming to that university to study. Why are you shaking your head?
Because it won't. Listen.
Do you think it's a waste of space then? From a perspective of
Right.
you, a business owner, hoping
Okay.
to attract students to come
Okay.
and use your venue? Yeah?
Yes, because I think this is my view. Right, put this is that when that university, the majority, and I stand to be corrected, but I think I'm not wrong. When they got they asked local businesses, all right, because the whole idea of the university was not to have the brain drain from Peterborough people going out of town. to universities and not coming back. So they asked the main local players, what are you looking for? So a lot of the courses were designed, all right, for what the local businesses
STEM
wanted.
subjects.
Huh?
STEM subjects.
Is that what it's called?
Science, technology, engineering,
Right.
mathematics, food, tech,
Okay.
What does STEM stand for? Science, technology,
engineering.
Yeah,
Engineering.
but the thing, okay,
good subjects.
but if they're not attracting people from outside the area, right, and I get the student accommodation is a factor, all right, but either way, if they're not attracting, what made your son?
Oh, Steve, where are you going with all of this? What is
Because
your
you have
point?
to, Kev,
So you're saying I wish that this city didn't have a university?
No,
What's
no.
your point?
My point is if you want to attract people, you have to do something that's popular. If your core subjects are very minority interest, you're not going to attract many people. If you open a nightclub, Kev, playing very obscure music, are you going to attract?
So you're trying to argue with me about the syllabuses at the university?
I
about
just,
the subjects
I,
that
I,
they teach?
what I'm saying is,
Because you wish it had more people from outside of the
Yes,
city,
I would
rather than those people who already live in the city.
100%. I would love.
That's your opinion.
2,500. It's got capacity for 2,500 people a year. I think that's right. 2,500. All right. I would love that to have 5,000 people. All right, students who've never been to Peterborough.
It is expanding though, isn't it? By 2030, it will be a lot more,
Much
isn't it?
bigger.
About
Yeah,
10,000
much bigger.
or so for
You
decade
need
or so.
you need a lot of students to make a difference. Lincoln has 15,000 students. All right, and can't support the engine shed, which is a great venue. 15,000
I
students.
wish we could have ended on a high. Not to be. It's Steve Jason, isn't it?
No, it's been very entertaining.
Steve, have you enjoyed chatting?
I always enjoy chatting because over my years, I've learned. I read a lot of stuff about not such about entertainment. I read about why things work, and sometimes you have to accept where you are in the order of
Pecking order.
pecking order. You have to accept it. And as much as I would love to change it, I know I haven't been able to change it in 40 years. All right, and I know what's needed to be changed. It.
But we're ending the podcast now on a good note. Tell you why? Because Steve's smiling.
Okay.
And we're going to end on your smile, Mr. Steve
Okay,
Jason.
fine.
Thank you for being our guest. Thanks, John. And we will catch you next time here on the Peterborough Podcast.